Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saur Darkchylde, and welcome back to another episode of the Apollo Justice Trilogies. Last time, we went through our first day trial of Monstrous Turnabout, where we're introduced to our fifth prosecutor, Simon Blackquill, also known as the Twisted Samurai. After going through some back and forth arguments, we find ourselves digging our own graves as we're unable to prove most of the events that happened during the trial, including the fact that there were yokai and not yokai in the room, if that makes sense. In a desperate attempt for protecting his daughter, our client starts to act like he was possessed by the great demon yokai Temmataro, which begs the judge to give us one more day of examination of the crime scene to get to the bottom of this case. So that's what we're gonna do now. April 18th, 2027, 1:20 p.m., Wright Anything Agency.
Having a yokai testify in court is unprecedented, to say the least.
I am Temmataro, the yokai you seek. How could such a straight-faced man like Mr. Temma suddenly become a demon?
Yeah, it's strange. Even worse, Prosecutor Blackquill is playing along. I can't even think straight anymore. I need to go out for a run. See ya in a bit.
Wait, what about the investigation?
Back? Whoa, Druzy, welcome back. Oh, you're in your strange outfit. Back from work? Yep, I already nailed this new magic trick I've been working on. I also heard about those tricks that were conjured up in court earlier today. You know, the demon out of nowhere trick and Polly's tightrope style defense trick?
I'm seriously considering a disappearing act of my own after all that craziness. Anyway, our next trick is to find a suspect other than the mayor. I know the killer must have used the air duct in their escape, and whoever did that was the Temmataro that Mr. Filch and Jinxie saw. Right. Maybe there's some evidence in the air duct.
The real fart starts right now. Hey, before you go, let me take the evidence you no longer need disappear. One, two, three, ta-da!
I wonder where all that stuff goes.
Okay, let's get over to the scene of the crime. Vamos! Apollo Justice, vamos!
Oh, vamonos. Okay.
Detective Fulbright, mind if we search the air duct?
Well, since you really are on the side of justice, I suppose I can let you. Plus, my own sense of justice has been called into doubt, so...
Wonder if he's been like this ever since the trial.
Well, his sense of justice has been beaten to a pulp. It'll probably take a while for him to recover.
I sort of feel bad for him, but we have work to do. Let's go get the evidence we need.
The air duct is the key. We know the Temataro impersonator used it to make an escape. After murdering the Alderman, the killer left the fox chamber through the hallway door. Then, after locking the door from the outside, the killer entered the air duct in the hallway. Finally, the killer dropped the key into the fox chamber through the vent here. Then went back through the air duct and fled the manor. That's how the illusion of no one entering or leaving the locked room was created.
If the killer passed through the air duct, maybe we'll find some evidence there?
Yeah, maybe some black feathers or something like that. Well, here's our vent. It's awfully high up.
Don't worry, I brought a step ladder. Happy hunting!
How nice of her to volunteer me for the job. Whoa, it's pitch black in here. Well, here goes nothing. There's a thick layer of dust in here. I don't get it.
Find anything? Yikes! Apollo, what happened? You're covered in dust.
Yeah, dust. Lots of dust.
So, what'd you find?
You know how dust collectors on something when he uses it for a long time? You know how dust collects on something when nobody uses it for a long time?
Yeah, like Mr. Wright's desk back in the office.
Right. You think it'd be possible to crawl over that sort of dust without leaving a trail?
I seriously doubt it. Wait, you're not suggesting... No one's gone through the duct lately?
Kinda looks that way.
And if that's
True, Mayor Timma is going to be fingered as the killer.
But...
If we don't turn things around quickly... In justice we trust! Sorry, Mr. Justice! But it seems your justice was not the most just after all. It is my sense of justice that has prevailed!
Detective Fulbright sure seems chipper all of a sudden.
Ugh. And I'm back to my old devastated self. Aw, come on, where's that never say die spirit? Bring it on, Mr. Lawyer Man, bring it on! Let me suffer in peace. Justice prevails once more!
It's not over yet, and besides, kicking someone when they're down is what bad guys do.
Are you calling me a bad guy? Me, Bobby Fulbright, champion of justice?
Then how about some information on the investigation? We need some help here.
Information about the investigation? Alright, but I won't have you calling me a bad guy ever again, understand?
We did it, Apollo.
Yeah, but how long can we keep this up?
I can't believe Prosecutor Blackquill would stoop that low. I mean, pinning the blame on a yokai? He really wants a conviction at all costs.
She could give a yokai a run for its money, when she's mad. Yes, well, I have him writing a self-reflective essay as we speak.
I doubt that'll teach him anything.
Yeah, he'll probably just write he dotard heard 1,000 times. That whole yokai business is most likely a ploy to win a conviction. Truth is, Prosecutor Blackquill believes Jinxie Tenma planted that yokai stuff. Planted it in an effort to protect her father, the real killer.
Yeah, right. I'd like to see him prove it.
Whoa, calm down. He doesn't have any direct evidence, but we did find this. It was at the base of the cliff just outside Kubai Manor. Wait, that isn't the staff Tamataro was supposedly carrying, is it? The one and only. Miss Tama no doubt tossed it over the cliff when she was done.
No way. Well, what about Prince?
Nope, no prince. But if she was wearing a costume, there wouldn't be any anyway. Well, prince or no prince, it's not going to work in our favor. Sounds like the staff might have belonged to the mansion. But if that's the case, then where in the mansion did Tamataro get it from? Did Prosecutor Blackquill figure out that the victim was the amazing Ninetales? He did indeed. He's a sharp one, all right. He figured it out while investigating the municipal merger and the victim's past. The amazing Ninetales sparked the yokai craze and worked against the merger. And Mayor Damien Emma is the corrupt politician who murdered that great hero. The Amazing Ninetales fans are so angry, they even tried to storm the detention center.
I don't blame them. I mean, their favorite masked wrestling hero was murdered. They must have seemed shocked when they found out what happened.
Speaking of which, isn't Jinxie also a fan of the Amazing Ninetales?
A wrestler's mask is more precious to than his own life. He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself.
She spoke with a passion that only a fan could appreciate.
We ought to become fans ourselves and go protest in front of the prison.
What? No! Did you forget that Mayor Emma is not only Jinxie's father, but our client?
Oh yeah.
You be careful now. Oh, you're defending the most hated mayor in history. I just hope you don't find yourselves on the wrong end of four-leg lock. Maybe I should wear a mask to hide my identity. And there are any her new developments we should know? Now that you mention it, our suspect is suffering partial memory loss, but he did manage to remember something. He did? What did he say? He said he didn't want to speak with us. His exact words were, "I am under no obligation to speak with you mortals." And other things of that nature. I wonder what that Mayor Tenma remembered. Too bad you can't go ask him now, 'cause Prosecutor Blackwell's busy questioning him. I know! Why don't you wait down at the playground with the rest of the kids?
What now, Apollo?
How about regrouping back at the agency?
Good idea. We might get some words of wisdom out of Mr. Wright while we're there.
Maybe I'll go read over some past cases.
And I'll go do some research on exorcisms. Hey, what's with you guys? You seem bummed out.
How should I put this? It's like we're at the edge of a cliff, and the only way is down.
In other words, business as usual, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Except this time it's like we're bound and gagged, too.
Don't forget blindfolded with our ears plugged up. Oh, and monsters at every turn, huh? Sounds rough.
Hey, Apollo. Oh, and Athena's here too.
Mr. Wright!
How goes the investigation, Apollo? Athena?
I think it's safe to say that things have gotten hairier than before.
Really? What happened? Best fill you in, Mr. Wright. I was watching the two of you from the gallery this morning. That was one tough day in court, to say the least. I know. I never had to defend a yokai before. That business about a locked room was another major hurdle.
Yeah, and on top of that, Jinxie was accused of being an accomplice.
But at least you figured out how someone could have escaped that locked room. Yeah, well, we found out that our reasoning might be a bit tad flawed. Oh? Really? Well, that's bad news.
How are we going to get out of this one?
The worst times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
Force a smile?
Yeah, my mentor taught me that back when I was still learning the trade. She also taught me to return to the basics whenever I got stuck. Return to the basics? That's right. Always believe in your client, no matter what happens. That is a lawyer's greatest and most trusted weapon. The basics. Always believe in your client, huh? So, Mr. Wright, how long have you known Athena? I met her around during a trip in Europe. Huh? You were in Europe? Why haven't I heard about this before? Yeah, I went there a few times to study the various legal systems over there. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I thought you worked as a pianist after you quit practical law. I did, but an old friend of mine needs help with some legal work from time to time, so... Oh, I guess you were never very far from the courtroom then.
It's like fate brought us together. It's thanks to Mr. Wright that I became a lawyer as well.
I knew she was a lawyer material from the moment I met her. And I have high hopes for her ability to analyze people's emotions.
It's nothing special.
Maybe I've underestimated that analytical psychology of hers?
It's just, I thought that if my special ability could help defend innocent people, then I had to do everything in my power to bring it to courtroom. That's when I really started hitting the books hard.
I'm still amazed she actually became a lawyer. And at the tender age of 18, no less. Wow, that's almost superhuman! Or personal, like she's trying to help somebody she knows.
Alright, I'm totally pumped up after talking with you, Mr. Wright. It's like you said, the worst times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
And don't forget to return to the basics whenever you get stuck. Keep on believing in my client. Right. Mr. Wright? Yes? I'm going to visit our client again. I think that's a good idea. Alright, time to see what's new down at the detention center.
Mayor Temma, we wanted to talk to you about something.
Caw-caw! Yeah! Caw-caw! So, my minions have returned!
Apollo, he still thinks he's a yokai.
I wonder if we'll ever be able to talk to Mayor Temma again. Silence! Peddler of the legal trade, free me from these imprisoning walls with great haste.
Wow, he's sounding more and more like a real demon with every sentence. I'm starting to wonder if we should even be helping him win his freedom.
Still, we can't let Mayor Temma stay possessed. Yes, you know what I mean? If you can clear me of these charges, I shall help in whatever manner I may. Now ask me, what you will. I suppose it's worth a shot. Were those feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime really your doing? Indeed! The remains of the Temmataro, king of the underworld, baby! The day when I once again dominate the mortal world is at end! Caw, caw, caw!
The prosecution claims the feathers and tracks were planted by Jinxie.
What's this? I must breach these walls and go defend my little Jinxie at once!
Huh? Mayor Temma, is that you?
Well, now. Damien appears to be still reside within this body. But I should have expected as much from a descendant of mine. Be silent now, demon! Damien? Okay. I guess a little thing like demonic possessions won't stop a father's love for his daughter. You didn't kill Alderman Kubai, did you? I have killed no one. The remains of my presence have been construed. The murderer is not I. For if I had slain that mortal... Rain, hellfire... Yikes! That was too fast. So you're saying there must have been somebody else there? Come to think of it, the mayor had mentioned that he'd been clubbed with this statue. I'd better ask about this too. Let's present it. What, might I ask, is that? This statue was found at the scene. Someone hit Mayor Temma over the head with it. It has been wrapped in a large cloth before the alderman's murder. Let me see whether Damien knows about such a thing. Yes, something wrapped just in such a cloth does he recall. A secret gift from Alderman Kubai, as it would seem. He, however, had not a chance to see it till now, for the cloth did conceal it. Maybe the cloth fell off or was removed after the mayor was struck? Of that, Damien does not know. A secret gift. Interesting. Maybe Jinxie knows something about it. Detective Fulbright mentioned you might have had something new to tell me? Indeed, I have. I regurgitated this key but a short while ago. Behold, the key to the Forbidden Chamber. Whoa! Is regurgitation one of your demonic powers too? Bah! I do not waste my powers on such parlor tricks. Take the key from the killer, did Damien, whereupon he swallowed it. He sought to bar the killer entry to the Forbidden Chamber. So he wanted to keep it shut tight? But no fingerprints shall you find upon that key. How do you know that? Wait, is that another one of your demonic powers too? Foolish mortal! Oh, you would have me, Matoro, act as some acidine alchemist? But I asked the jailer, and my will is done. Quite eagerly, I must add. Caw, 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 caw! Always an honor to serve, your benevolence! Guess I'm not the only one he scares the living daylights out of.
Can we ask how you use this key? We couldn't find a keyhole anywhere or in or around the door.
Curse that infernal door. But if I had known its manner of opening, long ago would I have made my return.
He has a point there.
Maybe Jinxie knows something about the whole thing, how the whole thing works? I should question him about that blackmail letter too. Let's see what he says when I show it to him. Why, this is that accursed blackmail letter that was sent to Damien! Apparently, somebody slipped it into the alderman's pocket. We believe someone, probably the killer, stole it from Mayor Temma's briefcase. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Caw, 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 caw! You have questions, do you? Very well, ask away, that mortal. Who placed this in the alderman's pocket? Very few were they who knew the letter was in Damien's briefcase. So whoever knew about the blackmail letter was being in the mayor's briefcase is a potential suspect in its theft and placement in the alderman's pocket. Could it have been his doing? Mr. Mayor, Mr. Taro, Did you just remember something? Indeed I did. There was but one other man who knew of that letter. Damien's aide, Wright LaBelle. Full knowing of that briefcase's contents did that aide possess. Then he may be the blackmailer and the murderer we're looking for. That's just preposterous. He is a most trusted advisor. He would never betray Damien.
It seems like Mayor Tenma is a bit too trusting of those around him.
Still, this is huge. Now we know who might have slipped that blackmail letter into the alderman's pocket. And that's not good. Look out, Florent LaBelle. Here comes justice.
Let's go find Mr. LaBelle and rake him over the coals.
Thanks for the help. Oh, you've given us a major lead.
There's something that still bothers me. If Mr. LaBelle is the killer, what could have motivated him to open the Forbidden Chamber?
We should probably search it for clues.
Only one problem. How do we open a locked door that doesn't have a keyhole?
Let's go talk to Jinxie. Maybe she can help. Hey, isn't that...
You dare imprison me? Jinxie? She's acting really strange. That loathsome, no-good nine-tailed fox. He shall know the terror that is mine. You shall pay. Oh, you shall pay dearly, all of you.
Jinxie, are you all right? Oh, is that you?
Oh, is that you, Mr. Demon Lawyer?
Morning, Jinxie.
Morning? Isn't it already past noon? And what am I doing here? Last I remember, I lie down to take a nap back at the manor. Oh no, it must have been... Makuragushi?
Makuragushi?
Ever wake after a restless night, he'd sleep to find your pillow in an unusual place? Or that you've been sleeping on the floor or in the hallway? Well, it's that yokai's fault. Oh, the Makuragushi preys on people while they're sleeping.
It sounds like you just need to be tucked in really tight, or maybe a snug sleeping pill.
Jinxie, how come you don't have any charms on your forehead? I don't? Oh, they must have fallen off. Without them, evil things can creep into me.
I'd say we have more than adequate demonstration of that just now.
I'd better reapply them.
Jinxie, there's something we want to ask you.
There's something I wanted to tell you too. I remembered something else.
You did? What was it? Jinxie, can you tell us what you remember?
Well, after that trial I remembered lots of stuff. But there was one thing I thought was really weird.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but here goes. Really? What?
It's about the yokai feathers and tracks. They weren't there when I first opened the door.
Wait, what? Are you sure?
Uh-huh. My memory's crystal clear now.
So you're saying that they were left at the scene of the crime after you found it?
This could spell major trouble, Apollo.
Why?
Because Jinxie is already accused of leaving the feathers and tracks at the scene. If they weren't there when she discovered the crime scene, it will totally fuel the claim that she fabricated the evidence later on. Jinxie's fuzzy memory of the whole incident is really working against us. The prosecution will probably say she doesn't remember planting the evidence. Good luck rebutting that.
Oh man, this is not good. I sure hope she didn't plant the evidence while she was sleepwalking or something. Jinxie, you wouldn't happen to know how to open the forbidden chamber, would you? That door doesn't even have a keyhole.
Well, that's supposed to be a secret mechanism. They say you have to figure it out before the keyhole will appear.
A secret mechanism? Really?
Uh-huh. It's hidden in the Fox Chamber. But only Alderman Kubai knew about what it was and how it worked.
The Alderman of Ninetails Vale sure loved his secrets.
Apollo? We've got to go. Let's go see if we can find that secret mechanism.
Whoa, slow down! There's something else I need to ask about. Jinxie, is there only one key to the Forbidden Chamber?
Uh-huh. Even the master key won't open it. That's because it's a very special room that must never be opened.
I guess that means nobody entered the Forbidden Chamber after the murder. After all, we know Mayor Tenma took the key he from the killer and swallowed it, so...
So the mayor's efforts to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber were not in vain.
One more thing before we go.
Alderman Kubai made that statue. It's a token of goodwill. I think it was meant to be for Ninetails Vale and Tenma Town.
A token of goodwill, but two yokai are fighting.
Fighting? Oh, I see what you mean. The cup portion is missing. This statue originally depicted the two yokai holding up a cup in celebration. It sure doesn't look that way now, doesn't it?
Maybe it broke when it was used to hit Mayor Tenma on the head.
That would explain it. I guess the only people who knew what it really looked like were the aldermen and I. Now it's just me, but it's a symbol of goodwill will be forever etched into my mind.
A symbol of goodwill, huh? So, is there anything else we should know about Jinxie?
No. Oh, that's about it.
Ah! My bracelet! It's reacting! Jinxie, you wouldn't happen to be... In justice we trust! Yikes!
Hey, a ghost!
Oh! Detective Fulbright. What are you doing here? I have business with the young lady, if you must know. Prosecutor Blackquill has asked me to question her.
Question me? Sorry, not interested.
Are you here to ask about the whole yokai affair? That's right. Specifically, we want to ask... Ah, but I can't tell you that now, can I?
Oh, come on, please. We're partners in justice, right?
No. Prosecutor Blackquill specifically told me not my questions were for the utmost justice. I will not fall for your lies. In justice we trust. The Twisted Samurai sure has him on a short leash.
So you're not a ghost? Maybe some sort of urban troll then?
Now come along, Miss Temma. To the station with you!
He took her away.
Missed my chance to see what she was lying about.
Well, at least we found out there's a secret mechanism for opening the chamber. Let's go check it out.
I just hope they let us in now. Oh, it's an absolutely fabulous scent. And your hair is blue. That was a different color last time we saw you. I'm so glad to have these creations imported from England. Nothing but a finest will do. Perhaps I should place one aside for our dearly departed alderman.
Hey, it's Mr. LaBelle. Apollo, let's ask him about you-know-what.
Oh yeah, before we search the Fox Chamber, we should ask him about the blackmail letter. Why, if it isn't the mayor's little lawyers? What do you want with me? Oh, there's something we wanted to ask. Where's that ringing coming from? You'll have to excuse me. Hello, LaBelle here. What the?
What the? Those things on his shoulders are cell phones?
Yes, how about that? You must forgive me. This whole matter with Mayor Temma has been a complete nightmare.
Where do you buy clothes like that?
Surprised? This is my own special design. It's the ultimate in functional beauty. Functional beauty? Are you sure about that? It looks a bit unwieldy to me.
Yeah.
You simply don't have an eye for beauty. I have an eye for... If having an eye for beauty means looking like this guy, I'd rather be blind. So, what do you want with me? Both Jinxie and Mr. Filch said they saw Temma Taro. But what about you, Mr. LaBelle? If you were in the foyer, didn't you say...
Yeah.
Very well, I admit it. That's right, I, Florent LaBelle, saw the demon Temma Taro. So he did see something? Then why did you lie about not seeing him? I was simply trying to protect dear little Jinxie. Protect Jinxie? What do you mean? Why, don't tell me you haven't heard about that strange little habit of hers. The one we were talking about? Which one are we talking about? The one when she wanders around making mischief without knowing what she's doing. Rumor has it she's possessed by Temmataro.
That one's news to me.
Well, there you have it. Anytime you hear about a Temmataro sighting, little Jinxie should be your prime suspect.
Tell us more about that rumor.
So, what was that rumor about Jinxie? They say she's possessed. Not all the time, of course. It hits suddenly when she starts wandering around doing strange things. Is that so? Although, come to think of it,
That lonesome no good Ninetales fox. He shall know the terror of mine in despair.
that certainly would explain how she was acting earlier. Once she even put on a Temmataro costume and wandered around the woods at night. She did?
Beware you who steal me away.
I wish I never asked.
Does she remember anything while she's possessed?
Unfortunately, no. She doesn't seem to remember a thing during these episodes.
Memory loss during possession?
Come to think of it, her memory of the murder scene is quite fuzzy. I suppose that too was caused by her possession.
Then maybe.
So you do understand. That whole yokai business was entirely of her own making.
Now wait a minute!
Although, that yokai evidence wasn't there until after she discovered the crime scene.
Did she leave those black feathers and strange tracks there herself? Apollo! Let's ask Mayor Temma about Jinxie's episodes the next time we see him.
What is that?
It's a blackmail letter. But it wasn't sent to Alderman Kubai. It was sent to Mayor Temma.
And? Your point being?
Someone took the letter from the mayor's briefcase and placed it in the alderman's pocket after he was murdered.
Oh, you don't say.
You wouldn't happen to know who made the switch, would you? After all, you were the only one that knew of the blackmail letter was in the briefcase. So naturally you...
Perhaps that shot of cologne will make those scales fall from your eyes.
Or my eyes fall from their sockets.
It is possible that you would like to frame me as a potential suspect. What would make you raise such an outrageous allegation in the first place?
Well...
My only crime is being born as beautiful as you see here. In other words, you have nothing. Now, let me show you what to do with this garbage.
You can't destroy evidence like that!
What do you mean I can't? I just did! Feel a little lighter now?
You've just won a one-way trip to the top of my most annoying people ever list, buddy.
Are we done with your silly questions now? I'm a very busy man, you know. I guess that's it for now. Hello, LaBelle speaking. Really? You wish to carry my new product at your store? Oh, but I'm afraid it's my own private brand. It's not available to the public. What? Then I shouldn't advertise it on TV? But I don't understand. As the embodiment of beauty, it is my duty to announce my good looks to the world. Stop the bus. I'm getting off. Everyone wants to be my exclusive Jesus Labelle brand products. It's the crown jewel of my collection, born of my long, relentless pursuit of beauty. But now that it's become so popular, it's been an absolute nightmare. You don't say. Well, they can't have it. It's just for me. It's not meant for you peasants. Peasants? This is my latest product. I'm calling it Color Me Labelle. A dazzling hair color that can wash out just with water. I guess that means you can't sweat. I have 7 colors in all. Oh, you can find out more in my commercials and magazine ads. Yet it's not available to the public. Great sales strategy there, genius.
Come to think of it, Mr. LaBelle, your hair color changed since the last time we met.
The little lady has quite the discerning eye. Here's a little sample. Consider it a gift for one who truly appreciates beauty.
Oh, Apollo, what should I do?
Better take it before you get a face full of cologne.
Good point. Wow, thanks, Mr. LaBelle.
Alright. Okay, let's head over to the Fox Chamber. We've still got to find the secret mechanism to opening the Forbidden Chamber. Okay, let's find that secret mechanism for opening the Forbidden Chamber.
Oh, this is so exciting! I can't wait to see how it works.
But do you really think the killer entered the Forbidden Chamber? We'll have to open it to find out.
We should also see if there was anywhere in the killer could have hid in this room. Okay, let's get started. Apparatus, Apollo, apparatus.
Okay. This investigation is easy. Now, how do I pan the... Oh. Let's examine this. 2 foxes standing back to back are depicting one of its elegant folding screens. Could this have something to do with the keyhole? Wait a minute. 2 foxes. There are 2 fox statues in front of the Forbidden Chamber as well.
Maybe the keyhole will appear if we do something to this folding screen. But I don't see anything unusual about it.
Well, it does have 2 foxes on it, and there are 2 foxes statues in front of the door.
Then maybe there's a clue somewhere in this room. Let's turn the whole place upside down.
She's as excited as a kid in a candy store.
Nothing much to see on this side. Maybe I should check the other side? There's a carving of a nine-tailed fox over the door and statues of him on either side. The way those two statues are glaring, it's like they're guarding the door from us. Come to think of it, there are two foxes on the folding screen as well. It can't be a coincidence, can it? Hey! The statue moves!
Don't get carried away now. I mean, who knows? It might trigger a trap.
I can handle it. If a spear comes shooting my way, I'll snatch it out of the air. After all, I have reflexes of a regular karate kid.
I guess if you can catch something that fast, and it's out of midair, you can accomplish anything.
Still, there must be something to the fact that these fox statues rotate. Maybe there's something around here that shows the position they should be in. I want to examine this thing again. Let's see. Maybe the killer hid under this table? That would be a terrible hiding place. The Alderman's body would have been right above. Maybe you're right. Guess the underside is a bit... Wait! There's something under the table! Let's check it out. Hello? Hey, look! Look, there's something down here. It looks like a piece of something. Only question is, a piece of what? Oh, I know! It might be a piece of this statue. Remember what Jinxie said? The statue originally depicted two yokai holding up a cup. It was a symbol of goodwill. So this piece broke off and rolled under the table? I need to examine that folding screen. But how do I do that? This is pretty much dialogue we've already read. But now that I examined the door, will there be any change? Maybe the keyhole will appear if we do something to this folding screen. But I don't see anything unusual about it. Well, it does have two foxes on it, and there are two fox statues in front of the door. Then maybe there's a clue somewhere in this room. Let's turn the whole place upside down. We already read this. What am I missing here? I examined the... Right off the bat, I examined the folding screen. I examined the table, and I examined the door. Wait, did I examine the door? I'm pretty sure I did. No, I didn't. Otherwise, it would have had a check mark on it. Still no keyhole, huh? Yeah, and the door won't budge. Just like those spiky bangs of yours.
Well, it all takes some water, and I don't think that would work on the door.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'll break down the door with my body slam.
I seriously doubt you could do that.
How do you know if I haven't even tried?
No, wait, don't!
Ah!
As much as you hate losing, Athena, I think the door would win this match.
Well, I can't think of anywhere else to look. You found anything, Apollo? We'll never find the keyhole up to the Forbidden Chamber at this rate.
There's something about that folding screen. You know how those fox statues in front of the Forbidden Chambers moves? That screen might be a clue as to how we're supposed to position them or something.
Hey, I bet you're right. Let's go over that screen with a fine-tooth comb.
Upon closer inspection, I think there's something more to this folding screen than meets the eye. Let's check every last inch of it. I don't need to go through the things, because I pretty much got this all covered. Just gotta rotate, examine that. What's this? It looks like a keyhole or something.
You think it could be the keyhole to the Forbidden Chamber?
No, it's just a picture.
Still, you know what they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
It's a picture of a key. Its shape looks awfully familiar.
Oh, I know.
It's shaped like the Forbidden Chamber's key. Wait, what about the keyhole drawn on the center of the screen? You think the two are related? A key and a keyhole. Oh,
a key and a keyhole. Oh, I just got an idea. If we fold the screen up just right, the key and keyhole should overlap.
Hey, I think you're right.
Let's give it a try.
Look, a door.
Yeah, and it's open too.
The foxes are now facing each other. So, hey, what if we made those fox statues face each other?
Apollo, let's check out those two statues.
Okay, help me move the two statues so they face each other, just like on the screen. Look! A lock appeared.
Now we can use the key.
Okay, here goes nothing. It worked.
Time to see why this chamber's so forbidden.
What secret should it hold, I wonder? These doors need some serious oil.
That was like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, right. I forgot about your super good ears of yours. Look, more feathers.
Yeah. What the heck is that? Is that Temataro statue? But there's something odd about it. All I know is I don't like it, but I can't explain why. You okay, Athena? You look kinda pale. You're not scared, are you? What, of this thing? Don't make me laugh. Really? Hey, look! What? What is it? Over there on the left. There's a bunch of stabs on the rack. They kind of look like the staff we saw earlier. You mean the one Jinxie said she saw Temataro holding? Yeah, I bet our Temataro impersonator really did come from here at some point. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's search the place. And what do we have here? What's this? Whatever it is, its packaging is really gaudy. And the fact that there's no dust on it, hasn't been here very long. Oh, that's hand cream. Let's see what brand it is. Jesus, LaBelle. LaBelle? What the? But then, would that mean Mr. LaBelle was here? I guess so, but why? Well, whoever was dressed up like Temataro must have taken the staff from here in the Forbidden Chamber. And that same person probably dropped this hand cream at that time. In other words, the Temataro impersonator we're looking for is none other than Florent LaBelle. This might be a large break in our court for us in court tomorrow. For now, for all we have to do is get the truth out of Mayor Tenma. Alright. Looks like a gravestone or something. It reads, "Here lies Temataro, age 80. Cause of death, choked on a chicken bone." Geff, say it isn't so! Besides, that sounds more like an autopsy report than an epitaph, if you ask me. Wait, you're joking around... Oh, you're joking around because you're scared. Heard, it's your coping mechanism. I'm not scared! Freaking out Central, right here, baby! Cut it out, Widget! Denial is strong in this one. Now, what if that's scroll there? Looks like an old scroll, and there's something drawn on it. Unless I'm mistaken, it looks like an old guy, some sort of monk maybe. A monk? What are you talking about? You know, people that take walks in the mountain as a form of spiritual training. Wouldn't that just be a hiker? The guy in this picture doesn't look like he's doing this for fun, Athena. Oh look, there's some yellow things strapped on his back. Whoa, it's turning into Temataro! What's this scroll getting at? What's the scroll getting at? Is this how Temataro was born? Well, whatever it is,
It's definitely creepy. Well, that's one big statue. Must be something like 15 feet. And look, this Temataro has a staff. But the Temataro in the scroll didn't have one. I wonder why. I feel like this could be significant, but why? Let's take a closer look. First, to go around this table here.
Ah, Apollo, are you sure that's a good idea?
Hey, it looks like there's some sort of compartment in the base of this statue.
Don't open it! Who knows what might be in there?
It's just one big empty compartment. And from all the dust and cobwebs, I'd say it hasn't been opened in a really long time.
That's enough, Apollo. Let's shut it and...
Wait! There is something in here. Looks like some sort of figure, but it's so dusty I can't tell what it's supposed to be. Wonder what it's doing here. Oh look, there's an air vent here too. I guess even the Forbidden Chamber needs proper ventilation. But I don't think anyone could reach this one either.
Yeah, there's nothing to stand on around here. I wonder where this vent leads.
Well, the Fox Chambers vent didn't branch this way, so
maybe it doesn't have anything to do with this case, after all.
Hey, there's a bunch of stabs here, and it looks like one's missing. The Temataro Jinxie saw must have taken it.
I'd have to agree. This looks like the one Detective Fulbright showed us.
Why do you think there are so many here?
Maybe they're spears? Temataro might be, absent-minded or something? And the fact that he has spare stabs handy, well, it shows that he's aware of his faults and is trying to deal with them. Or at least that's my take on it.
Maybe this will remind her to deal with her own faults. But I won't hold my breath.
Guess that about wraps it up. What now?
We should probably talk to someone with some of the witnesses again.
You mean like Mr. Filch and Jinxie?
Yeah. I really want to ask Mr. Filch about the vague village superstition in Temataro.
It's the curse! The curse! The curse of Temataro! You outsiders are ignoring them superstitions at our peril. Oh, mind your own business, will ya?
Ouch! What's all this about a curse?
Temataro's gonna curse us all, lest you stop sticking your noses where they don't belong. Stop the investigation. Listen to what them superstitions say. Right. How about obeying the law before you go obeying superstitions? Huh? Hey, what are you doing with Widget around your neck, he's mine! And you know better than to go around stealing people's stuff like that. The same goes for my bracelet. Sorry. I promise I won't do it again. He's almost kidnapped my sweet little Widget. That big jerk. I'm sorry.
I guess you can't teach an old raccoon dog new tricks. As long as we have him here, I guess we should ask him about what happened.
I can't believe you did that. It's one thing to steal a pair of shoes, but to steal Widget? Gah. Yipes! Mercy! I can't seem to control myself. It's that thieving blood running in my veins.
Thieving blood? What's that supposed to mean?
Glad you asked. The infamous bandit Azuki Hikozo was my grandpappy. Take a gander at this.
What exactly am I looking at? Looks like another one of those yokai to me.
It's none other than the Azuki Kozo. Robbed from the rich and give to the poor, he did. And he'd leave one of those figures at the scene of the crime. What's more, I'm his grandson, cause he was my grandpappy.
Wow, you don't say.
Thieves' honor, it's the highest truth. The sleuthing around of Azuki beans, scraping together in the dead of night. It's the magical sound of dirty money getting washed clean for giving out to the poor. I'm Azuki Kozo, washer of money, giver outer of wealth, reborn. Forget the money. You should be washing yourself of this nasty habit.
Wait a second. This figure looks familiar. Yes, it looks just like that old Dusty figurine we found in the Forbidden Chamber.
Hey! What are you doing with that there figure?
Oh, this? We found it in the Forbidden Chamber. Looks like it'd been there practically forever.
Could mean my grandpappy broke into the Forbidden Chamber way back. Hey, that reminds me. He once told me there's treasure in that there chamber.
Treasure? What do you know about the treasure of the Forbidden Chamber?
Only that is the greatest get-rich-quick scheme of the universe. Grandpappy told me all about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there.
There's something amazing in there? I didn't see anything like that, though. Your grandfather didn't, by chance, already steal it, did he?
See, now there was one of them. Seeing how there's one of his figurines in there, that just might be. That's Grandpappy for ya. Bet he washed that treasure up for real good before ending it out to the poor.
Oh, of course. Because he was so righteous. In court, you mentioned seeing Temataro near the scene of the crime.
Sorry, I didn't come clean right away, but them superstitions got the better of me.
The people of Ninetales Vale sure seem to like their superstition, seem like a superstitious bunch. I'm not surprised you wouldn't want to talk about seeing Temataro.
Darn right! Them superstitions scare me out of my wits, I tell ya! That's why I'm gonna do exactly what they say from now on.
So you plan on staying here in Ninetales Vale?
Yep, I'm gonna keep living here, right here, and keep with the old ways, just like Grandpappy did. Them superstitions are like a rule book to me.
Wait, so you're saying you actually believe those old wives' tales?
Ain't you been listening to a word I said?
You're going to do exactly what them superstitions say. Well, I say that's baloney.
Take that!
It's clearly written here, ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village.
Ah!
So according to this, you shouldn't even be here, let alone talking with us. You said you plan on staying right here in Ninetales Vale. But if you really believed in these superstitions, you would have been long gone by now.
Ah!
I know you've been lying to me. Time to come clean, Mr. Filch.
Yipes!
You were lying about believing in the superstitions, weren't you?
Sorry, but I didn't have no choice.
So, what was the real reason why you couldn't talk about Saint Temataro?
It's all that pretty boy's fault, Mr. LaBelle, if you know what I mean. He told me not to say a word about Saint Temataro. He said if I did, he'd do me in with them superstition and said would happen.
So, it was Mr. LaBelle who muzzled you? Why would Mr. LaBelle want to scare you into silence?
Mr. LaBelle was trying to protect that little maid girl. It was on account of that rumor, the one about her being possessed.
That rumor again.
I guess we really do have to talk to Mayor Tema about the possession rumor.
Ouch! Hey, watch it!
I'll be taking this back now. Kinda like family to me.
You could have just asked instead of stealing it.
Was that all we wanted to ask Mr. Filch?
Yeah, I think that was it. Let's go see Mr. Temataro one more time. Just thinking about dealing with that yokai again makes me want to say pass.
Lord Tema, your attorneys are here to see you. Your benevolence.
Why are you speaking like that?
Oh, Mayor Tema, you've returned.
Yes, well, Jinxie came by earlier to apply a new charm on my head. It seems to be suppressing the demon within me. That's a relief. Maybe we'll actually get somewhere this time. So, what can I do for you today? We'd like to ask you about a rumor that Jinxie is possessed. She allegedly left the yokai evidence at the scene while under the demon's power. At least, that's what the prosecution is going to claim at tomorrow's trial. Huh?
Caw, 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 caw. No match is this warding charm for me. Ugh, the charm. Tamataro's back. Those foolish mortals, they shall regret blaming that child for my doings.
Ugh, I blew it. That question brought that yokai back. And he probably won't drop that act until Jinxie's name is cleared either. We'd like to ask you about something your aide, Florent LaBelle, mentioned. Did you know Jinxie is rumored to be possessed? I know not of what you speak. You're not trying to protect Jinxie, are you?
I, Tamataro, Demon Lord of the Yokai, protect a mere mortal? Caw, 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 caw. No affections do I possess for your race of humans.
Please, we already proved that there was a third party disguised as a yokai at the scene. But if you deny that tomorrow, we'll never be able to clear Mirtemma's name.
But I have already told you. I know now of what you speak. I don't think we'll get anything more out of him.
It's all over unless we can somehow prove that Jinxie didn't plant that yokai evidence.
Hey, Apollo? I think I've got this one. I think I can prove that she didn't do it.
Really?
Sure. I should be able to use psychology to explain that whole process thing.
Knock yourself out then. Wow, Athena's really something. I can really count on her when it counts.
Mirtemma, Jinxie isn't possessed. I believe her so-called possession episodes are a form of
Insomnia? I don't even know how you're supposed to pronounce that word. Somnambulism? You mean like sleepwalking?
Yes.
Yes, I believe she is
Yes, I believe she is exhibiting a rare form of the disorder. It's usually brought on by depressed stress. Mr. Mayor, didn't her symptoms start soon after she began her job at Ninetales Vale?
When the child visited last, she did speak of dreading yokai and how they rob her of sleep each night.
I knew it! That lack of sleep is causing her an unconscious state. And that means she can't be trying to protect you. At least not in a conscious level.
So then, the Temataro that was spotted at the manor wasn't Jinxie? Sleepwalking, eh? That would indeed explain the matter. Look, Timataro's spirit. It's left the mayor's body.
Can you tell us the truth now, Mayor Timma?
Very well. It's the least I could do for a superb exorcist such as you.
Mayor Temma, you didn't leave those feathers and tracks at the scene, did you?
I did not. Neither I nor Jinxie have anything to do with that. That was the killer's doing, no doubt.
I knew it. I knew it.
You suspect Florent is behind all this? But why? Why did he really want Ninetales Vale that badly?
Can you think of any reason why?
Looking back, he did seem fixated on Mataro for a spell. Ah, could it be? Perhaps he was attempting to release Mataro.
That's crazy! Are you saying that yokai is real?
Whatever the case, Mataro brings nothing but pain and misfortune. It's as the superstition warns. You must not gaze upon him, nor free him from his prison.
But how can people actually believe that? Well, at least we know who's behind this whole Temataro thing now. Yeah, and I think we need to have another nice long chat with Mr. LaBelle.
Your dinner is ready, Your Malevolence.
Ah, an offering to the Demon King. You may place it right here.
The kitchen group poured their heart and soul into making it.
Did they now? Souls happen to be a favorite of mine. Just hold the hearts next time. Caw, 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 caw.
Yes, Your Malevolence. I'll remember that.
How long is he planning to keep up with this yokai charade? Well, we've already talked to Mr. Filch and Mayor Temma, so why don't we go see Florent LaBelle next, now that we know the truth? He won't be able to claim that Temataro was Jinxie or the mayor anymore. But the real question is, how are we going to get him to admit it was him?
Okay, now let's practice that again, Filchy. From the top.
Mr. LaBelle, I was in the foyer at the time of the crime, and when we, heard a scream, heck, what was the next part again? Ah!
You have the memory capacity of a flea. This is the 13th time. You know. Now, 100 times more and we're done.
What on earth are they practicing? I ain't cut out for this. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, begging your pardon, Mr. LaBelle, sir. It's just all the Yay!
Unbelievable. Oh, what if you had sullied my outfit with those grubby paws of yours?
Did Filch Mr. LaBelle's wallet just now? So, what do you think they're up to this time, Apollo?
Oh, it's you two. Eavesdropping, are we? You peasants are so tacky. Well, what do you want with me? Your confession to being Temataro imposter would be nice right about now. Mr. Filch filled me in on your conversation you two had. And about how you told him not to say a word about seeing Temataro. Filchy, you fool! Yipes! I told you nothing good would come to you running your mouth. So why did you want to keep Mr. Filch quiet like that, Mr. LaBelle? Why? To protect darn little Jinxie, of course. But Jinxie was never really possessed. She was sleepwalking. Because being asleep at the time means she couldn't have been consciously trying to protect her protect the mayor. That also means she couldn't have possibly been Temataro. Interesting. But where are you going with this? Since you asked so politely, I believe you have a different reason for trying to keep Mr. Filch quiet. That reason would be to deflect doubt away from the one who was really Temataro. Now this is getting interesting. Are you insinuating that I am Temataro? So sorry to disappoint, but I am nothing of the sort.
That's right. Mr. LaBelle even told me Temataro was Jinxie.
I said Temataro was Jinxie, you fool. Honestly, you have the memory capacity of a flea. Practice it 100 times more.
Yipes.
So, have you been called to testify tomorrow? Yes, and I'm so looking forward to my courtroom debut. But you'll just have to wait until then. Oh, I'll be waiting. With this special piece of evidence I've been saving just for you. Filchy, wake up, you lazy bones.
What? Was I sleeping? Must have been in that sweet cologne of yours, Mr. LaBelle. Made me right sleepy, it did.
Well, it's time for your lesson on what to do and say tomorrow.
Oh, I'm begging you, not another lesson. Cut it out with this thinking and remembering stuff. Right up the schnozola.
Keep quiet and do exactly as I say.
No, please. Anything but another lesson.
There they go. Missed our chance to get the truth out of him.
Yeah, we'll have to get proof. We'll have to get the proof we need in court tomorrow, one way or another. All that's left now is that lie Jinxie told. We better go clear that up before tomorrow.
You think you're done questioning Jinxie?
Maybe. Let's see if she's over at Yokai Lane shopping for more charms.
Cursed Ninetales box. Time for the setting of the score. My grudge against has festered over time.
She must be possessed or sleepwalking again.
Maybe if I speak softly, I won't startle her and get a charm plastered on my forehead. Psst, Jinxie.
Huh? Oh, hello, Mr. Demon Lawyer. My charms must have fallen off again.
Phew. Guess I can avoid a charm slap by toning down my cords of steel.
Are they done questioning you, Trixie?
Uh-huh.
And on the way back, I stopped here to buy a new charm that was just released.
Yeah? Which one?
Oh, one with the Nine-Tails Fox and Temataro. It shows them dancing together.
Really? Two bitter rivals dancing together?
Uh-huh. It's a charm for rebuilding burnt bridges.
Oh, right. The municipal merger issue.
No, it's for the demon lawyer and the insomniac prosecutor. It'll stop you two from fighting like you did in court this morning.
We weren't fighting, it was just a spirited debate.
No fighting.
Charm slapped again.
Apollo, if you're done playing around, let's find out what she was lying about.
Jinxie, it seems like you're starting to remember things. You already said the feathers and tracks weren't there when you discovered the crime. Have you remembered anything else that seemed important?
Like what?
Tell us what you saw that day. Maybe you'll remember something else this time.
When I opened the door, her papa and Alderman Kubai were collapsed in the Fox chamber. That's when Papa told me to call an ambulance and the police. That's all he said before he passed out in the chair.
I knew it. She's hiding something.
Gotcha!
You were very nervous when you said, "That's all he said," weren't you? I know because I saw your fingers move if you were going to slap someone with that charm.
Huh?
Listen to me, Jinxie. This is very important. Did Mayor Tenma say anything else to you?
It was nothing. He was just talking in his sleep.
Talking in his sleep? So you admit that he did say something else?
How could you tell? Only a demon could have such powers. Like I said, he was just talking in his sleep. I mean, why else would Papa say something like that?
Could you be a little more specific?
Before he fainted, he said, "Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed Alderman Kubai."
He said what?
The mayor actually confessed to the crime? But he didn't mean it. He couldn't possibly have known what he was saying. He was probably possessed, or maybe he was in the middle of a nightmare.
A nightmare? No, this is a nightmare. This is one statement I wish I'd never heard. What in the world are we going to do now? Return to the basics? That's right. Always believe in your client, no matter what happens. That is a lawyer's greatest and most trusted weapon. Right. Just believe in my client, even if all I can see ahead is darkness and despair.
Jinxie, does Prosecutor Blackwell know about your father's confession? I didn't mention it when he was questioning me. I mean, there's no way Papa's a killer. Why would the mayor confess like that?
Could he really have been dreaming or simply delirious?
Who knows? But I sure feel like I'm in a living nightmare right now. Apollo, what are we going to do about tomorrow's trial? The crime scene was locked tight until Jinxie arrived, and our clients even confessed. Not only that, Jinxie has been accused of planting the yokai evidence. Both the mayor and Jinxie are going to prison if we don't do something.
I know. Well, let's see here. Our lack of a third party in the locked room is a major problem. Jinxie has testified that when she first opened the door, Alderman Kubai and Mayor Tenma were the only people she saw in the Fox chamber.
But the real killer must have been hiding in there as well.
Considering the room was locked tight, that's the only logical explanation.
Our mystery person must have then fled the Fox chamber when it opened. And that's when Jinxie saw what she thought was Timataro. But Papa and the Alderman were the only people there. I didn't see anyone else.
What's going on here? LaBelle's extremely pale, but he's far from transparent. Just how did he hide himself at the scene of the crime? And that's what we're going to find. Oh, wait.
Whatever it takes in court tomorrow, Apollo. We have to take down that dirty, rotten Timataro, Florent LaBelle.
Right. We'll get him with a legal exorcism, justice style. And we will do just that. Next time, and let's replay Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, and would love to see more, hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment if you want, ring that bell to be notified when our next video comes out. We do new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and occasionally Saturday and Sundays. All this helps my channel to grow, so you have more videos to enjoy. Until the next episode, this is Saur Darkchylde, signing off. Have a good night, folks.